Hello and welcome to the 2022 Discraft Ledgestone Open. You are watching round 3 coverage from Northwood Black in Morton, Illinois on JomezPro. I am Nate Sexton, that's Jeremy Koling, and that is Paul Ulibarri.
Yeah, check out the latest drop of throwback discs on JomezPro.com.
We have 4 designs in Innova and Discraft molds, including all your favorites, and these discs feature our 10-year anniversary logo as we celebrate creating disc golf content since 2012.
Get yours today at JomezPro.com. Thanks for the support, guys. Let's check out our lead card. We have Ricky Wysocki once again in the lead at an Elite Series event. He's been here many times before. 13 under, scramble 80%. That is not a surprise for the Scramble King. He's done very well in this course before. Anthony Barela tied for the lead. First in birdie percentage, 40%, nearly 40% birdies on these two courses is phenomenal, and that's why he is in the position he's in right now, making some really big putts in that second round. Gannon Buhr, 0 OBs. Not so hard to do out here in Northwood, but that's pretty impressive for Eureka. 13 under as well, also tied for the lead. And rounding out our incredible card today, Paul Mcbeth, we've got the mixture of old players, the old guard, and the new school, and it's going to be amazing as they battle this difficult Northwood Black.
My name is Kip Toffer. I'm born and raised here in Morton. I am the designer, builder of Northwood Black, but it wasn't just me. I had a lot of help building it, and very thankful for that. I come from traditional golf background. I've always loved the US Open, and it's always, the most challenging. So the goal was to make pretty much a grueling course mentally and physically. We really wanted to make an extremely hard course. Nate Heinold approached me, said, hey, we want to make the original Northwood course harder. And the goal was always, let's make a hard course. One thing I wanted to do for making it difficult for the top players of the world was landing zones. You still want to throw fairly far, but you don't have to hit these landing zones. One guy might be able to use a putter where you're maybe using a mid or a fairway, but also you got to be able to shape the shot through the woods. And these guys can do it. I know they can do it. I've been watching them for quite a few years, and it's just exciting to see them do that. These up-and-coming new players, they're just so good. Along with the Paul and Rickies and Dickersons and all them, they're good enough to be able to handle this, And like I said, they're going to get birdies out here, but they're also going to get some bogeys. And I wanted to see how mentally they can handle that. I love to get their feedback, and a lot of them will tell me, oh, you got the par set right, and then some of them will say, no, hole 12's par 6, So hole 12 and how that came about. Honestly, at first it was going to be a par 3 right up to the creek, and then after that it was going to be another par 3 and then another par 3. After walking it just for hours and hours, I told Nate, I was like, I think I have a pretty epic idea here. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Probably a good 60, 70 hours of just in the design, walking back and forth, and then as far as building the hole itself, I probably have 350 hours in it, and then if you take everybody, you're in the thousands. I hope the pros can keep coming back each year, and I think each year they're going to get better on it, learning it better in the lines, so I'm proud of it, but it is difficult.
Hole 1, par 3, 455 feet, dead straight out of bounds the whole way down the left side. If you throw it too good, you might find the out of bounds deep as well. Takes your best shot, plus you got to pump the brakes.
We saw a star frame here yesterday to open things, so I don't think we're going to see that again, but let's watch.
Two-time Ledgestone champion, defending Ledgestone champion, and two-time world champion, Ricky Wysocki.
Yeah, I like his chances.
Yeah, but wait till they announce the last guy.
No doubt.
Now there is a right to left crosswind, which is making this shot definitely more difficult today.
Oh, Ricky.
Ooh, that is fortunate.
That is getting away
and it's so good.
That's not just getting away with one. That is stealing one.
Next off of the box,
Wow.
also at 13 under with Ricky, from Mesa, Arizona, Anthony Barela.
He nearly missed the first gap.
That could kick left OB and be in 5 position just like that.
But we still got a chance at the star frame.
Yeah.
and we still have a chance at the start.
This is the same thing as last time.
Just a little help.
Sit.
There it is.
That's it.
No, that's a little bit to ask for the star frame.
He hit some putts
From Urbandale,
yesterday.
Iowa, also co-leader, Gannon Buhr.
Gannon Buhr doesn't quite have the major titles yet, but if he continues playing the way he's been playing this year, he's going to have an intro like the one Ricky had and the one Paul's about to have someday, perhaps.
I mean, cut him a break. He's 17 years old.
Just win
He
one.
hasn't got them yet.
Okay, well, this is...
This is how you get him. That's exactly how you get him. What a shot.
Okay, well, star frame's still intact.
Just hit the base of the basket, and you just knew it from, like, right about now.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, that's
Perfect.
tracking okay. That is the best shot I have ever seen on this hole.
How do you get that good before you
Minus
can...
12 from Huntington Beach,
graduate,
California.
high school.
2-time Ledgestone champion.
What?
5-time world champion, Paul Mcbeth.
That was the abbreviated accolades, and it still took a long time to get through it.
A little overcooked, but does it get that friendly slide? Not really.
Okay. That would have been pretty incredible to...
Still
See,
good shots today.
yeah.
Today
Yeah.
the right to left wind was playing a factor. It really was.
It was a lot breezier today than I think any of us have ever played Northwood Black before.
Yeah, I think that it was definitely playing at least 3 strokes harder than the first round.
Mm-hmm. Anthony does not... It's not a gimme by any means. Good effort with the flex putt. But just a mere cleanup for Ricky as he steps off to the side. If you've been watching Ricky for a long time, he used to work that left foot stepping into the lie as his form. Used that putt from about 2013 to 2015.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how much putts evolve over time and how they change.
The best are always changing. Just like the smartest people are always reading. And disc golfers are like Ricky and Paul. They continuously are working so that they can stay at the top. They have to.
Hole 2, par 4, 580, going up the hill through the gap here and then around this corner to the right. The biggest mistake you can make here is probably early right, because then you've cut off your angle. You got to get through the trees and you really have no real opportunity to advance the disc down the fairway. But if these guys can go dead straight, or even better, big forehand swinging right to shorten up that next shot, this is a gettable par 4.
I like the angle. Rick's going to have good fairway.
It's a smart play. You're taking what the course designer, he's baiting you in to throw a left to right shot here. But if you just play hyzer off the tee, which is kind of scary to do, you're actually going to give yourself a shot into the green every time, rather than trying this shot, which is if you throw it perfect, you're good.
Oh, good.
But even this is going to be
Yeah.
pinched off and nothing.
Sure.
Yeah, that's not good. Roller maybe. Perhaps high turnover if he gets a good gap.
Yeah, I think you surrender the birdie. I think you just try to get to the fairway and pitch up.
But you're not going to outsmart the amount of world championships on those 3 cards right there. Because I believe Gannon has a few as well in the junior division, right?
Oh, I think, yes. Good out.
I think Ricky does too.
Yeah, and he was a junior champion. I believe it was the 2010 Brent Hambrick Memorial as Ricky Parks that we were all like, did you see Ricky Wysocki got 7th place? And we're like, who's Ricky Wysocki? He's like, oh, he just won Junior Worlds. And the excitement started then.
Uh-oh.
Oh, very close to perfect for Paul. Just just the slightest bit more turn.
And what is that going to be, 45 feet?
At least, I believe. Gannon, a lot of turn. This is really nice. Also catching the last tree there at the gap, but gonna just barely sneak into the circle.
Like his chances in the circle right now. 100% on the weekend. Or on the weekend.
Is that true?
Yeah.
100% in the circle?
That's what it said when we did the profile at the beginning. 0 OBs, 100% in the circle.
Doesn't run away from him too bad. He'll have about 20 feet back up the hill. Ooh,
Paul.
Commentator's curse. Just off the left side.
I ain't putting that evil on Paul. I didn't say anything.
Just keep my mouth shut.
Anthony has never made a C1 putt, and that is a gift from me.
You're welcome, Anthony. Ricky just waiting to tap in the birdie. He's going to have a one-stroke lead over Gannon when he...
Gannon's 17. Imagine if he got just way better at putting. How terrifying.
If he got better than he is now?
Yeah.
I feel like he's reached the pinnacle. He just wants to stay that good.
No, I mean, like, think about it. He's 17. Imagine if he got better.
Oh, and we won't have to imagine, I don't think. I think we'll just get to sit here and watch it as it happens, because why wouldn't he get better?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting thing to watch.
Yeah, I mean, barring injury, I would expect him to get better at literally everything for the next couple of years. You know, he's getting experience.
Yeah, I'm fascinated about his stroke because he's putting from 180 feet, which means the potential there is larger than anybody I've ever seen in the game.
Like
so
he
far.
could change the sport as far as like what the expected putt range is.
Like a Steph Curry type thing, to where people are like, yeah, we really don't make C3s ever. And we might have to even make a C3 stat because he does that, you know?
Ricky's drive is phenomenal as it gets down the hill, and Heiser's down to the right side of the landing zone.
And if they keep designing courses this hard, people will actually have C3 looks more often than not. You know, it's like then you're going to actually see that kind of thing, because on a traditional disc golf course, Gannon doesn't sniff C3. He's in closer than that on almost every hole.
Yeah, and this par 4 is pretty tough. You have to have the power to hit this small window and then drift right. If you don't have the power, you could get pinched on that right-hand side. It makes backhand really tough.
Oh, my gosh. Anthony's drive, that is nice. Blistered.
I also just find the second shot to be awkward. No, I've never landed anywhere on this hole where I thought, oh, this will be a simple second. It's always just like a slightly tricky angle. That's going to be a tricky angle right there. He's going to have to go through the woods low, or just if he goes wide, I think there's no way he can advance much. Yeah, this is the safer shot.
And this is going to land pretty close to where the good drives are landing. That's a decent spot. He's going to be on the left side. Should be a putter approach for Paul. Less than 200 feet.
No, this is an advanced level shot right here. You have to throw down the skinny line on that left-hand side and really flirt with a big cliff over there.
Yeah.
A big one that can really get you into trouble. So this is a great hole. Real tough par 4.
Yeah, it is.
Ooh.
The tee shot has definitely a difficult element to it. But down here, like you said, Paul, like this 180 feet that these players are left with their approaches is just so awkward. It's fair lines, but awkward lines.
Well, my name is Nate. I'm the one who said that, and he's Paul.
Yeah. And Anthony's parked.
And this is also Paul, and I know that can be confusing, but this is also Paul.
So tricky.
Who's throwing right now, and he throws a great shot.
I'm going to say Paul caught a kind of a good break right there.
With that skip?
Yeah, that could have caught those little skinny trees up there and stayed above at 45.
Whoa, nearly dunked it.
Rick is left with after his approach just barely missed the mark.
Ooh.
Oh, rolls back up the hill.
That's 40 feet.
Wow. If you had told him he would be putting for par from top of the hill after his drive, it would have made him very angry. But good putt.
He looks a little angry, but not as angry as he would have looked if he didn't step up and make this clutch putt. Wow, and it was close.
So close.
It was really close.
This hole's getting people, man. There's 3 7s out there in the field today on this hole. You're going to see some big numbers on almost every single hole because the rough is relentless.
Ledgestone. Every summer, hundreds of disc golfers flock to the greater Peoria, Illinois area to compete in the sport's richest and most charitable event, the Ledgestone Open. But what does Ledgestone look like for the rest of the year? On the surface, Ledgestone is one of disc golf's leading retailers, but look a little closer and you'll find a group of motivated individuals providing the best possible service to the disc golf community. So whether you're building a bag, wanting to support your favorite pro, or looking to add to your disc golf wardrobe, choose the retailer that's as passionate about the sport as you are. Choose Ledgestone.
Taking a look at hole 4 here, par 4, 637, very straight off the tee. You just want to stay in the middle here. A lot of players will try to test these skinny trees on the left side of that main tree, but the best landing zone just slightly right and beyond it to set you up a shot where you can see your line across this bridge. Then you just have these 2 guardian trees to beat to find a nice flat putting green.
I don't think we're going to see a backhand here. I'm going to take a wild guess.
AD's getting some really good shape with that Halo Wraith right now. That connects on the tree. You just barely want to miss, but man, you could see how much potential that flight had. It was really moving in the right direction. This is going to be nice because this is going to be hyzering into that nice money zone there. If it doesn't go too long.
Yeah, a little much on the fade is what I was thinking potentially, but he's got, scramble from there for sure. Can see the basket.
80% scramble.
Yeah, you put the Ricky Wysockis of the world in that spot, they're happy with it.
I think he wanted to land there.
Gannon with a lot of flex in that play. Similar landing zone for him with Rick. If that makes sense.
It certainly does. And Paul also drifting it. This one has a little more drift, and that's not the kick you want to see. Left side, going to cut his angle off pretty badly.
Paul's just not quite getting the breaks yet. I don't know if he's going to get the breaks, but at some point you keep throwing shots that are close to good. They usually go in your favor at some point.
That's not a layup line.
Wow. Oh, but it got chopped straight down.
I think that puts him in a good spot, though. I think he got away with one.
That is too low.
But it could still be C1.
Yeah, no, totally.
Edge of circle. It's makeable, but not what he was looking for exactly.
Yeah, and he didn't get the reaction off that hill that you see often. Often it hits that hill and kind of rolls back into that creek.
Ricky going slammer.
82% scramble, folks.
Is that the
creeping up?
The slammer? Yep.
Looked like a slammer.
I bet you the scorecard guy gave him a fairway.
Yeah, you might be right. I wouldn't blame him either way in that spot. That's kind of, even a scorecard guy gets to have a little fun every once in a while and make those judgment calls.
Our judgment call for fairway hit or not is so subjective, especially on a tight course like this. I mean, at what point are you saying definitively fairway or definitively off the fairway? It's like
it's not up to us.
Yeah, it's blurry.
That is not up to us.
Anthony with a really nice shot, almost rings up another one. He's been pretty close from a couple times in round 2.
Whoa. You don't see that too many times in a round or a tournament.
I give him one Steph Curry reference, and all of a sudden, he turns into Shaquille O'Neal on me. I got to fire him up.
He's probably exactly halfway between them in height.
That's true.
Definitely got a few inches on Steph.
Steph is taller than he looks.
He's not as tall as that kid.
He's not as tall as Gannon Buhr, but he's only like 2 inches taller. Steph Curry's, I think he's like 6'4".
Fair enough. Hole 5, par 4, 451. This is kind of a unique hole, I feel like, on this course in that it doesn't ask for a power drive. I think almost all the other holes are looking for you to push 350 plus to a landing zone. This one is really specific, but it's only asking for about 260. If you're at all short of that or long, you pretty much take birdie out of play. So this is a speed control shot. You got to drift the putter over that log and then just kind of let it put the brakes on and slide into the zone.
I think a lot of our elite level courses right now are missing holes like this.
I totally agree.
I think you have to be able to bring that putter shot back to the tour and have a hole where you have to be able to throw that touch nose up shot. Kind of a thing of the past, and I love that that's
it's a good take. I mean, it might be the lowest scoring average hole on the course, which it is. It's the easiest hole to par. But it doesn't mean that it's necessarily easy. There's the pressure that you have to execute, otherwise you're losing strokes. And that is a pressure I love adding to the course.
And I think they do a good job, certainly, with making the landing zone so specific so that, you know, if it's like you have to throw 270, anywhere between 220 and 280,
then
everybody's doing it. But now you make this small enough that there are still a lot of players in scramble mode on this hole, and we've got at least one or two on this card that are going to be forced to throw some creative shots.
Steph Curry, 6'2". But and they also measure with their shoes on in the NBA, so he's probably 6'1", 6'1.5" or so. So you're right, Gannon Buhr's got him by a lot.
And he's exactly halfway between Shaq and Steph. That was my main point.
And you nailed it.
That's a tough one right there. Straight back to him. Kenny, wow. What a recovery.
That is really nice. And yesterday, he was 4 through 4 and totally screwed up his approach. Ended up taking a bogey, I believe.
Yes.
Today, he's in a bad spot, gets a worse kick, and ends up saving the par.
And to my point, he's kind of a young player. And he's grown up in the age of big distance, and it's just interesting to see him struggle with a hole like this where it's specific landing zone, have that touch. Not saying that he can't do it. His drive was fine. He could have gotten up and down, sure. But it's a nice thing.
Paul's drive just a little bit off the mark. He's going to have appears to be a lengthy putt. Maybe circle 2. No, circle 1? Okay. Okay, right inside circle 1. Nothing in the way. Gets the hyzer putt up and in.
And even the next generation, imagine that. I've played this year 3 tournaments in a row where I didn't touch my mid-range.
Yeah.
Once. One time.
It only takes up, I think, 3 or 4 spots in my bag, and at one point, it was half my bag.
Yep.
Nate, you've never really been a big mid-range guy, have you?
Not a ton of them, no. But I have less now than I used to have. I'd say at the peak, maybe 5 mid-ranges in the bag, and I'm down to 2.
Looking at hole 6, the par 5, 947-foot hole here. You want to get your drive breaking slightly right, landing about here, setting yourself up for the backhand fading approach. You want to maybe go fairway driver or mid-range to try avoid not going past that slopey landing zone, which is a very difficult thing to do. But if you do execute that well, you set yourself up for about a 250 to 275-foot approach. Very specific hole all the way down. Very on par for Northwood Black. heavy turn out of the gate for Rick, but
Whoa.
finds a little inside lane.
Nice.
Good result.
Perfect. That's really good.
He is just throwing the disc in a good way, often.
Ooh, a little high. He's going to have to use that whole right side and get some love. Don't think it happened.
Just a little bit off the mark. Even at that approach that he got his first birdie in the last hole, even with that approach, oh, look at this one moving. He was a little bit off, so it just hasn't quite got into the groove yet. And the fact that he's still under par and hasn't found his groove is kind of saying something about him. But he's going to have to really work hard now to keep that bogey-free stretch alive.
Yeah. Still probably has 500 feet to cover.
And it's going to be tricky from there. Didn't quite get to the part of the hill that you need to really access that green, but they have cleaned up that corner.
This is inside. I don't think a par is happening from there.
Gannon pulls this a bit right, but gets through. And that is exactly where you want to be. It's so difficult to get a disc to sit on that slopey hillside there. That's going to set up a good-looking approach. This is what you normally see when you go into that hillside with a little bit too much speed.
There's a big ditch back there, and I think he might have found it.
Good effort, though.
Wow.
Okay. Okay.
Great shot. Forces it around the corner with the overstable disc. You can see this just leveling out as it flies and hitting almost dead flat, no skip.
I wonder how close that is to where Paige Pierce threw in her shot. I want to see the spot where she threw it in. It's one of the best forehand throw-ins I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
If you haven't seen that shot, look it up. Paige Pierce throw-in at Northwood Black.
That's a great shot there from AB back to the basket.
And it's not pretty from down there.
Setting up a birdie look. This is also
Gannon. Wow. Plays the hole absolute perfect. That was a perfectly played hole.
everybody except Paul putting for birdie, I believe, and this is for his par from down here.
Pretty good effort.
That would have been
it
an
was.
all-timer.
Yeah.
Well done. So we're about to see our first red number creep up onto the scorecard a little bit later than you normally see on most cards. The front nine, clear, easier 9. And look at Rick, 5 down through, through 6 holes.
Man.
And man, does that bogey sting a little worse when everybody else is putting in birdie and Mcbeth loses 2 to the entire card. But holy cow, Ricky, 5 under. Going into hole 7, the par 3, 325, narrow line to the basket, but a very gettable hole. Let's see what Ricky's going with. Looks like backhand.
He's going for the uber straight
Oh,
line.
man.
He is on fire right now.
Whoa, 6 under through 7.
This is like Kevin Kiefer stuff minus the bogey.
Yeah. Mcbeth had a start like this yesterday when I was playing with him. The course does get tougher soon, but man, I mean, you have a lot of insurance policy in your back pocket when you've made that many birdies early.
Look at the commitment to the hyzer line for Gannon with that flippy disc. He's just racing past the basket. The ability to throw with so much speed but go so slow and controlled at the same time is just...
Sneaks it through. Yes. Ooh, I don't think that's where he was aiming that. I would think he's going up the middle. That looked like a late release, and pressure was on here because everybody else, again, looking at birdie.
Pretty good touch.
Yeah, very nice. And a third miss. I don't know if the one on hole 4 was in the circle. But if it was, that's the third miss now for Gannon this round inside C1. And Anthony just off the mark left.
Ricky does not hate seeing that. I mean, he's just feasting right now and pulling away from everybody.
3-stroke lead a coming. Wow. 6 through 7.
I have never seen another group of people talk about their thing the way that disc golfers talk about our thing. And it feels like you're a part of it. It feels like no matter how big the sport gets, you being a part of it, you feel like you have an investment in it, and it's yours.
Let me into my zone. Please don't let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let me in. Please don't let me into my zone. I just need some time on my own. All these people trying to get a conversation. You can conversate to that tone. I got up on that throne, yeah. So I'm never alone, yeah. Ballin' can't beat me up 'cause I'm back in my zone now.
Hole 8, par 3, 389. Everything we're over right now is out of bounds. The whole right side, the initial area underneath the gap is out of bounds. So this is such a nervy tee shot. If you hit any tree earlier, you're likely going to the drop zone. Automatic 4 at best from there. It's measuring in high 300s, so you have to still kind of hit it, even though it's downhill. Ricky early left, and I think he's going to be fine with that. I'm sure he wants more out of it, but if you're going to miss the shot, that is the place to miss.
And forcing that over, hyzering back, just going to give it an ace run.
You know what's surprising to me is how well he hits gaps on that anhyzer angle. The toughest angle to hit a gap on is throwing something on the anhyzer line.
Especially like 2 degrees of anhyzer like that. You know, that's just the most subtle little drift right. With a mid-range, you can't do much more than that, or you're just going to send it into the out of bounds.
Oh, this is kicking to the bad place.
Inbounds, though.
Inbounds, but that is a spot you don't want to be.
Well, that's pretty good, as long as he beats that.
Going slow there. If he has that on that same line with a buzz, it maybe beats the corner and gives him a look down the hill. But
I think that's a makeable putt, though, where he is.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a good time over there, giving it a run. I'm going to have a good time watching them. Oh, no. That's a bogey staring at him now.
Yeah.
A little farther away than I thought Ricky was, honestly.
Yeah, but Paul's certainly a little closer. Can Anthony find another one of those big putts? Not this time. That came out really low.
I think you got lucky to miss that tree.
You might be right.
Paul's got a narrow window, goes for the hyzer line, draws chains just off. And this wall here, it does protect you from going out of bounds, but it's very awkward because the OB line is on the other side of the wall. So you don't really get a meter from the wall. You have to kind of, it forces a very awkward straddle putt where you have the logs right there. Yeah, there's Anthony checking that out.
And this isn't something you really practice much.
Yeah, look at the awkward footing there. It
does help that they have the longest arms in the field.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on if you stacked them on top of each other, man. I mean, that would just be crazy.
It'd be tall.
Definitely. Hole
It'd be
9.
a real easy putt.
Hole 9, par 4, 732. This one bends right initially, and this is one of the hardest drives, I think, to reach the actual landing zone. It's a really long way to the place that you want your disc to be, probably at least 380, 390 of worth of power to get up the hill and get right. And if you do that, you have to hit another gap and miss a ton of trees late. Really hard birdie. Yeah, that is just what you're looking for.
And what you're seeing right now, this is why we can't stop talking about his prospect. It's just he just keeps throwing shots that are just impressing us. Ricky, a ton of distance, but he's in that really tough spot that we saw Kevin in yesterday where he struggled and took a bogey. Not many wide open lanes from that left side, even though he did get a lot of distance.
Now, if you do have the power, you can just kind of mash on a sidearm.
But this is not going to make it right here. This is too soft.
It needs to be low, very close to the top of the hillside in order to get that carry that you're looking for.
Maybe going with a mid-range here. A little bit ambitious.
I'm a little surprised he doesn't go forehand, but he's very comfortable with this too.
I almost said that too. And why do anything else?
Yeah.
Well, I guess from there we saw him with a crazy sidearm.
Totally. He was in a worse spot.
Yeah.
Stand still, 400 feet from the basket. Got the flip. Got the finish.
Oh, what a throw.
Standing still to hit that gap.
That is very deserving of the replay. Look at that line.
Got to be a really understable disc. Man.
Highlight.
Guess what? If you're at home, you're never making that shot. Not
Oh my gosh.
ever.
If you're in the booth, if you're anyone besides Mcbeth, you're not making that shot.
I can make that shot. The roller.
Get out of jail free.
Yeah, if you give me
Standing
like
still.
10 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
10 putts.
No. No. Forcing over the sidearm and missing the line.
He needs to be in a bad spot.
Apparently.
You know that feeling though, right? Like you have the pressure of a tough spot. Sometimes a more ideal shot can be harder to bring your best focus to.
Oh, okay. That's in the middle, though. Well, here's your middle.
Yeah, this is the needing to bring the best focus to shot.
But look how many trees you still have to miss. He does a great job of it.
That
But
was fantastic.
those trees are 50 feet away. They're really an annoying distance to where if you miss your shot a little bit, you're basically out of luck.
I like that distance when the hole isn't as hard as this. I like this hole a lot, not to take anything away from the design. But like I like that on like a 400-foot par 3 where it's like if you hit that line, you get that reward.
Yep. Wow. Scooby coming out.
Oh.
Wow. Great line.
It's not a Scooby.
Why not?
It's a Scoober is. The old heads know what a Scoober is. A beautiful birdie from Paul Mcbeth. A Scoober is when you take the disc over your shoulder. The pterodactyl claw is a Scoober air bounce. That's what it's called.
No, that was a scoop, what he just did. The old heads, Nate and I have been playing a lot longer.
The Frisbeetarians, I'm telling you, a Scoober is when you bring the disc
We're
over your
disc
shoulders.
golfers, not Frisbeetarians. I freaking...
That's
I munch on birdies, bro. Presbyterian.
Talk to the Greg Hosfelds of the world, the people who've been around for a long time, the John Kirklands, the Storks. They know what a scuba is.
In ultimate, it's what we just saw from Gannon.
Okay. All right. I concede on that one. Paul Mcbeth, incredible birdie to finish the back nine.
Yeah.
Scrapping together a decent score, not really taking himself out of the hunt. Ricky Wysocki jumping up. Huge front nine. Gannon and Buhr within a couple of strokes now. Set up good for a good back nine.
Yeah.
One thing to notice about that front nine is you do have a few people better than 3 under, but that front nine's tough. So to see what Ricky has done on the front nine is extremely impressive because of a bunch of 1-unders on there. That's a good round. Those are top 10 players. I mean, we got a big show coming for you guys on the back.
Thanks to the Founders Club. You guys are great. You guys are the glue. Thank you for being here. See you in the back.
Greg Hosfeld, if you're listening to this, it's not a scuba, dude.
What it is, dude.
If I asked him, he'd be like, "Dude, I
Mike
watched
out.
Scooby-Doo. Like, I know what it is."
What he would say if you asked him, he would say, "Did Jerm say that on coverage?" I was hoping he would believe me, and he would say that on coverage.